Right, I'm going to be covering Laura Mulvey's male gaze theory. Now, in this video, this entire video is just a collage of different examples from different films throughout the years, different genres, and different actresses. To summarise Mulvey's theory, since I already went into detail about this, to summarise it, it's a theory that basically puts the viewer in literature and in film from a masculine heterosexual perspective that presents and represents women as sexual objects. So basically, what Mulvey's theory was about was showing women as objects for the male viewer's pleasure. Not so much as beings or people, so much as simple objects there for you to stare at, for you to just look at and feel attracted to, feel sexual urges towards. Now, throughout this is done in multiple different ways, camera angles, different depictions of how the viewer is seeing the character, for instance, what they're doing, what they're wearing, and different effects like slow motion or like different add-ons in the film, such as like water or, as I was saying before, costume, like different ways of interpreting the male gaze, but all in all is the same point of trying to make the male, well, in this for instance, to be stereotypical, the male look at the woman and think she is gorgeous. Now I'm going to run through this clip and I'm just going to show you the different ways that this is done. Now, as I was stating earlier, in this particular scene, I'm not quite sure where this scene's from, but how it works is the camera's done a slow pan up. And the reason they've done a slow pan upwards is they've gone from the bottom of their foot all the way, as I'll show, to the top of their head. Now, I'm just going to go back a bit. The reason they've done that is because this does literally show their entire body. And the way the actress is positioned, it shows from the back. So as it comes up the legs, it shows the ass and then it goes all the way up. It's again to show those flattering angles, those curves. It's to then intrigue the eyes of the male to go specifically to a certain spot, whether it be the legs or anything else. From what I'm getting from this, from a lot of it, again, it's all about camera angles so far. Again, it's the panning, it's the slow motion, it's the focusing on a certain body part to make the male's eyes draw to that specific point of the body. Now, I'm just going to pause it here. I'm going to go back a bit. Here's an interesting angle. Here's a low-angled shot of the woman, from the looks of it, upon the male. So she's obviously on top of someone, whether it be male, female, whatever. But this shot is to show a more dominant side of the women, because obviously men see women differently. Some men see different sides of women differently. So, for instance, if you're a male who sees this as hot because she's being dominant, then it's to show that angle, to show that superiority over whoever she's on, obviously. A common little thing as well that most of these use, besides obviously the obvious of slow motion, if I just go back to this one, they'll often have fans. And the reason why they'll have fans, like big like warehouse fans, is to do multiple things. It's to, during the slow motion, as it's hitting the hair, it flows and it makes them seem more attractive. Then again, depending on what they're wearing, if they're wearing like a skirt or a dress, having the dress move in a fluid sort of motion, again, sort of hugging and like the curves of the woman, all ploys to, again, try and make the male look at certain parts, no matter what it would be. And it also shows them off in their best form. So, for instance, the slow motion is so you can take a real good long look at the person they're trying to depict. And also, the reason for this fan, or the reason for the breeze, is again to show the hair flowing in the wind, the dress flowing in the wind, to have them. So it's almost like a tease in a way. It's almost like them saying the dress could come up, but it's not going to. But it's just sort of hugging the girl's body. I'm just going to play it from here. Another thing that this will probably be my second to last point, with a few of these, it's not so much camera angle, but it's how the actress angles herself. So body positioning is very, very, very important when it comes to the male gaze theory. Like how they hold themselves, how they have their legs, how they have their hips, like how their body is positioned and turned can really make the difference about how the scene is interpreted. For instance, the scene I've just paused on here, Catwoman in the Dark Knight Rises film, I do know this one, is obviously clearly, as she's got onto the motorcycle, she's straddled the motorcycle, which obviously you have to, but then she's bent over in such a slow kind of arching way to show off her ass. And that is 100% on purpose, because again, it's drawing that attention to her ass, as well as obviously wearing the leather, which then is obviously skin tight. It draws your attention to her curves, to her body, and it's, in a theatrical perspective, it's quite clever how simple things like that, like gesture, body movement, body language, can interpret this normal scene to being sexual, or at least attempting to be visually pleasing for a male viewer. So I believe that's why most of the time camera angles do come into it, but the real key to the theory is how the actress is positioned, how she's, like, it could be a difference of a leg facing right and a leg facing left, but the difference is dramatic of how the scene could be taken. And I think that's all I'm going to mention. I'm going to quickly go over, just make sure there's nothing else I can cover. Nope. That is all.